creature collecting games have been all the rage for the last, 20 years. And they've become even more prominent in the last couple of years, especially at the start of this year. Now, obviously these games typically have you capturing creatures and pitting them against each other. Or, on some occasions, just turning them into absolute war machines. But what if I told you there was a game you could collect creatures, and, for the most part, it's peaceful, and they're also food? Kind of. Yes, that's right, today we are looking at Viva Pinata, a game developed by Rare and released for Xbox 360 in 2006 and Windows in 2007. Now, this may not be the most niche game we've ever spoken about on the channel, but when it comes to Rare games, this certainly isn't the main topic of conversation. When people think of Rare, they tend to think of the bear and the bird, or that certain agent. But they don't really tend to think of the pinatas first. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, this is a life simulation game where you are basically a gardener tending to a neglected garden on Pinata Island. The end game objective really is to become the master gardener.
It's party time! Viva Pinata, filled with fun. Filled with fun! Don't be enjoying them. Viva Pinata, filled with fun. Filled with fun! Viva Pinata, don't be enjoying them.
Okay, so after that rather entertaining introduction to the game, you immediately get thrown into what can only be described as a barren wasteland of a garden. Your first objective really is to just clean it up and beat the shit out of all the debris and stuff and just break it. Now, there is actually quite a lengthy backstory to the point leading up to you coming up to this destroyed garden, but it's honestly so lengthy that you better read it yourself rather than me trying to explain it to you. It's just a lot of family drama that you kind of just end up in. Anyway, once you have gone through and started to clear out some of the debris and clear some of the grass into dirt, you will attract your first pinata. Now, pinatas start to appear after certain conditions in the garden are met. This can be from certain amounts of water, certain amounts of dirt, certain items being present, or other pinatas being present. And obviously by the end, you're going to want to have had each of them appear and become resident in your garden. Not all at the same time, because that would just be pure chaos and it just wouldn't allow you to, but that gotta catch 'em all theme is still kind of present. So each time a new pinata appears, you get a really fun and cute little animation cutscene that plays. Showcasing what it looks like. Now, you won't see the true colour of the pinata until it actually becomes a resident of your garden. So whilst there are requirements for it to appear for the first time, there is also a separate set of requirements for it to become resident in your garden. And again, these can include certain amounts of water, space. Some pinatas will actually have to eat other pinatas, which is where the violence comes into this game. But I guess on the bright side, it's not like we're forcing them to, it just kind of happens as part of the natural food chain. Okay, so once you've made two of the same pinata resident to your garden, the next step from there is to romance them. And that is correct, that is the correct wording, don't question it. You basically have a separate set of requirements to make the pinatas fall in love. And then, well, I'm sure you can figure out the rest. You get a very interesting cutscene where the two pinatas do a romance dance. And then you get some mini-game where you have to navigate one pinata to the other through a maze. It's a very fever dream-like experience, I must say. Okay, so once you get down the basics of clearing your garden, attracting, befriending, and romancing pinatas, now this is where the game truly starts. And although this is a fun-looking, colourful kids game, underneath the surface this is also a fairly complicated management game. Because there's pinatas that don't like each other, there's certain plants some can't eat, some pinatas will hunt each other. There's a lot that you have to kind of juggle at once, especially as you develop through the game and you get more pinatas and their requests and requirements become a lot more complicated. There are over 50 species of pinata in the original Viva Pinata game. Now some of these, like the worms as you saw earlier, are quite easy to attract. There's some simple ones that resemble animals like crows and sparrows and foxes, but then you get later in the game where you have quite literally a lion and then a dragon, and these are obviously not as simple to acquire. Okay, so we've spoken about the features and the gameplay of Viva Pinata, so the next thing we're going to talk about is probably one of the best parts of this game, which is the graphics.
It's beautiful.
Now, I know everyone says, oh, graphics don't make a game, but the graphics really do help this game. Like, the gameplay and loop is really good, but the game just looks so like pretty and colourful that it can't help but draw you in. And it certainly worked when I was younger, and honestly, it still works now. Bearing in mind, this game launched in 2006. It still holds up beautifully now. I mean, they obviously re-released it through Rare Replay on the Xbox One back in 2015, and in June 2019, both Viva Pinata and its sequel were enhanced to run at 4K on Xbox One X and their cloud streaming, which is just so cool. The game still receives love all these years later, and it's just a shame we haven't had a sequel yet. Well, another sequel yet. The garden looks fantastic, all the pinatas and characters are all so colourful and wonderful to look at, and their models are very well designed and very detailed. The plants you grow look great, even the water looks fantastic. There's not really much to say bad about the graphics at all, to be honest. Okay, so reviews-wise, this game scored pretty highly as well. On Metacritic, its critic score is 84 out of 100, with a user score of 7.9 out of 10, with a lot of praise for the graphics and for the gameplay loop itself, with its hidden complexities. Now, not everyone likes this game, but that's going to be the case with any game you play ever, and that can't be helped, it's not for everyone. One of the few mixed critic reviews simply just stated that gameplay could get annoying and tedious after a while, which I can get behind, but a lot of the user reviews just seem to be coming from people that bought Rare Replay for all their classic favourites like Killer Instinct or Perfect Dark, and then they came to play Viva Pinata and called it boring and stupid. So, very clearly an intellectual gamer. But, like I say, it's not for everyone. Now, sales-wise, unfortunately, this did not sell too well. Now, about a year after its release, someone from Rare stated the game had sold about 500,000 copies, and as of today, according to video game charts, they've sold about 1 million units. Now, obviously, this game has reached a wider audience now, with it being on Xbox Game Pass and included in the Rare Replay bundle, so I'm sure the amount of people who have actually played the game is significantly higher, but sales figures, sadly, will not match this. Now, there could be several reasons for the poor sales of this game. The first being that whilst the critical reception was high, at the time, the Xbox 360 was really more geared towards adults, and this was Microsoft's push to try and sell the console to a more child-oriented market. Now, unfortunately, this came out around the same time as the Nintendo Wii and also the Nintendo DS, where you had Nintendogs, perfectly equipped for a kid market. Rare themselves even said that they weren't happy with the condition of the original game, and they had more features that they wanted to add, but they were rushed to get it out in time. Now, another reason for these lower sales could be that Microsoft was so sure that Viva Pinata was going to be their next big franchise that they actually sold the rights to it to 4Kids to make a TV show on before the first game had even come out. Now, I know a lot of people are big fans of this show because they watched it when they were children, but having just sat through like half an episode now, I really just wish I hadn't done that.
Please, that's
listen, I'll comb your mane, cook your hay, anything!
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
One thing I must say is, though, the television adverts for this game were quite something. Please just take a look at this.
Whoa. You could break me open and take my candy, but wouldn't you like something better? I'll tell you a secret. I'm a magical pinata, and if you get me down from here, I'll grant you all your wishes. For you, an X-ray machine. For you, a pet cobra. How about sunscreen, pants that fit? Trevor, karate lessons? Just get me down and it's all yours. Come on. Come on. Just so we're clear, kids, I'm not magical.
Giddy up! Yeah! Yeah! That was acting, children! Bravo for me!
Pinatas have a better place to go. You can custom build your very own pinata world and fill it with all the things pinatas love. Don't beat 'em, join 'em. Rated E for everyone.
Now, because this is a Rare developed game, there are some cool secrets and also just references scattered throughout Viva Pinata. My personal favourite is the bear and bird statue, obviously referencing Banjo-Kazooie. To help market the game, around the date of its release, Microsoft collaborated with Six Flags, the American amusement parks, to promote the game, as well as the new Xbox 360 of course, and they constructed a 48-foot tall and 52-foot long pinata based on Horsestachio, the horse pinata. At the time, this was the largest recorded pinata ever built, which, after a quick Google, depressingly this record was beaten by KSI and Logan Paul when they constructed a 110-foot tall pinata looking like a Prime bottle. Oh my god. Viva Pinata would go on to get a sequel called Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise, which is the game I played the most of out of this franchise whilst growing up. Now, this game is more like a glorified expansion of all the stuff that Rare wanted to put in the first game, rather than a fully fledged sequel. It also got two spin-offs, a party-themed game that's like Mario Party but with pinatas, and then also a DS spin-off that was like a handheld version of the mainline series. All these games released between 2006 and 2008, and unfortunately, outside of Rare Replay and the 4K resolution upscale in 2019, that's the last thing this franchise has actually had. Now, I personally would love to see this franchise make a comeback, maybe not for the TV series, but certainly for a sequel to the mainline games. Now, in a world where basically everything is getting remastered or remade and rumours of other Rare franchises like Banjo-Kazooie coming back, hopefully this might see a comeback one day, or maybe it's destined to just be another niche game to live on people's E3 era bingo cards. Either way, that's all I have time for today, so thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and tap the bell for notifications, and as always I will see you in the next video.
Whoa.
She wanted me. That bitch is a